when you look at Russell Gage, this is a player that he had to take a pay cut to kind of stay in Tampa. Injuries kind of derailed his year last year. I mean, for the first, and Matt was there with me watching the first week of training camp. Nobody had more targets for more yards
He was balling out
and could get open like this guy. And you're thinking, wow, Russell Gage, man, this guy's a huge addition to this team. And he suffers a hamstring injury the very first joint practice with the Dolphins and really never was the same player. He's not the biggest guy. He's not the fastest guy, but he's a quick separator. And as you know, Brett, when you injure your hamstring, nothing robs you of your ability to be quick and separate like a hamstring injury. And so, the Bucs didn't get to see the best of him. And then this offseason, he's dealt with another injury. And so, you kind of have to rely on potential rather than productivity, because he's really yet to practice, missed the OTAs in the minicamp. But how excited are you to see what this guy can do as he tries to get on the field and keep that number 3 receiver role?
Yeah, Russ, his lateral quickness, like you attested to it. It's very uncanny for a guy. He's not the biggest, but he's got good length. If you were talking about a guy who's a number 3 or playing in the slot, and he's physical. He makes sure I knew it the day one. We're talking about high school highlights, and he's like, "Hey, B, put on my highlights, man. I'm telling you, I was knocking kids around down in Louisiana." And he was skinny, but he was throwing his head in there. So he's a guy who he can do a little bit of everything for you underneath, but also win outside one-on-one. But to your point, he's put a little bit of everything on tape, just not the quantity body of work that a guy like Chris or Mike has done. So yes, you're asking Russ, like, hey, how can we best get consistency and, a long resume this year on paper for you? Well, the first thing would be taking care of your body. So just being available. And this is going to be a big time. He just got married. So there's another little wrinkle for him.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone else who can keep him, nice and accountable.
Right.
But no, Russ has mentally been super engaged, and he's coming from an offense in Atlanta a couple of years ago when he was with Shanahan.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of similarities in some of the stuff that we're doing with the quick play action that Shane Waldron brought over from LA. So there's some good crossover there. And Russ is really smart, and he's helped our guys with some of the nuanced stuff of, hey, here's how we coached it here. Here's how Coach Idzik is saying it, or Coach Canales is saying it here. This is what's worked for me. So he's helped me, as long as you're open and listening, for those moments where, hey, his experience here is applicable for all of our guys, and it's not derailing what we're trying to accomplish as a team. He's given us a lot of that in the room full of young guys. So I've really enjoyed having him, and he's also comes from a DB mindset. So that part is awesome, because here's a guy who's played corner. He came into the league and he's played a little bit in the league at corner. Just shows you how special he is as an athlete. But he brings that mentality to our guys and helps them understand a little bit defensive structure and all of that. So as long as he can continue to put a long string of practices together and production together, he's going to be a big asset for us.